What all can players and coaches not do in the IPL? The Romi Bhinder phone controversy opened up the real world of strict rules. If all you saw that evening in Guwahati was the scoreboard, you would have thought it was just another regular IPL night. The floodlights were on, players were sitting in the dugout, cameras were catching the usual angles, and the eyes of millions of fans were fixed only on the ball and the bat. But in the world of the IPL, many times the real story is born not on the pitch, but at the edge of it. One small moment, a few seconds of footage, and suddenly the question arises. Is every movement in this league really monitored? Is the system here so strict that even a phone being seen in someone's hand is not just a mistake, but an integrity alarm? It is this suspense that makes this story far bigger than an ordinary controversy. In fact, on the 10th of April 2026, during the match played in Guwahati between Rajasthan Royals and Royal Challengers Bengaluru, the camera went toward RR team manager Romi Bhinder. In the visual, he was seen using a mobile phone in the dugout. Later, this clip quickly gained traction on social media. Then the matter was picked up in mainstream reports, and the debate no longer remained limited to whether the phone was used or not. The debate became about just how sensitive electronic communication is inside the dugout in a high-stakes league like the IPL, and why this act by a manager reached the level of an anti-corruption discussion. The most important thing here is that this matter is not based on some vague rule. The official IPL PMOA Protocol 2026 clearly states that the players and match officials area, that is PMOA, is considered a highly controlled zone separate from the rest of the stadium. This includes dressing rooms, players' external match viewing areas, the match referee room, dining areas, and dugouts. That means the dugout is not a casual spectator space. It is a regulated space where who gets entry, who talks to whom, and who uses which device. All of this comes under defined restrictions. And this is exactly where Romi Bhinder's case becomes serious. That same official protocol clearly states that a team manager can use a phone in the dressing room area, but not in the dugout. At the same time, players and support staff have to switch off their phones, smartwatches, and communication devices and hand them over to the team silo for storage. Even accredited staff cannot carry communication devices into the PMOA. This means the rule is not designed only for players, but for the entire ecosystem, so that no uncontrolled communication chain can be created during the live match environment. Now the question is, why is so much concern caused merely by a phone being seen in the dugout? Because in cricket, the biggest principle of the anti-corruption framework is this: that information flow during live play must remain tightly controlled. What information is going to whom, at what time, and whether it can be misused in a tactical or betting ecosystem has always remained part of the concern of governing bodies. The BCCI's anti-corruption framework and the IPL's PMOA system are built on this very philosophy that perception is just as important as actual misconduct. The credibility of the game is protected not only by being clean, but also by looking clean. That is why even at the BCCI level, the matter was not taken lightly after the reports emerged. According to recent media reports, the board said the matter would be investigated and taken to its logical conclusion. Some reports also said that the anti-corruption unit would probe this episode. That means this was not just a funny moment caught on a TV camera. It was a breach seen through the lens of the rulebook, whose seriousness was officially acknowledged. At present, the public conclusion on final sanction does not appear exactly the same in every source, but it is clear enough that the matter went under scrutiny. The visual presence of RR's young batter Vaibhav Suryavanshi sitting beside Romi Bhinder made this controversy even bigger. Because when an official is seen using a device while sitting right next to a player, suspicion naturally increases, whether or not any illicit intent is later proved. This is the difficulty of professional sports governance. Many times, the impact of a violation is created more by optics than by the action itself. And in a league like the IPL, where broadcasting, betting attention, sponsor pressure, and public scrutiny all exist at an extreme level, optics are never considered small. Another interesting layer of the PMOA rules is that the system does not create a completely absolute ban, but allows controlled exceptions. According to the official protocol, an analyst can use a computer at the analyst table, and teams can also use walkie-talkie communication between the dressing room and dugout under specific conditions. This means the league is not against technology. The league is against uncontrolled use of technology. In other words, the question is not about the device. The question is about location, authority, and protocol. Without understanding this difference, people often think it was just a phone. What's the big deal? But the rulebook says, yes, it was a phone, but where it was and in what context. That is the big deal. Now, if you are thinking that IPL rules must be limited only to phones, the picture is far bigger than that. The match playing conditions and code of conduct show that many parts of players and team officials' decision-making, behavior, movement, and influence on the match are tightly regulated. For example, in DRS, the player has the right to review, but the official playing conditions clearly state that the captain can consult the bowler or fielders, batters can talk among themselves, but no signal can come from the dressing room. If the on-field umpires feel that direct or indirect input has come from outside the field, they can decline the review request, and a breach report can also be made. Just think how clearly the IPL's philosophy is visible in this one rule. The decisions of the match should be taken by the people present on the field, not by those sitting outside. The strict control of the 15-second window before the replay is shown on screen is also kept for this same reason. so that no external cue can influence a player's review decision. In the T20 format, every second has value, and the governing body knows that tactical advantage can sometimes be created even by a half glance or a hidden signal. That is why the IPL is not just a contest of talent. It is also a contest of controlled information. If you look toward the code of conduct, the message there too is clear. That inappropriate behavior is not limited only to abuse or on-field aggression. The official document treats unfair play, time wasting, pitch damage, improper conduct, personal abuse toward umpires, and manipulating the match for inappropriate strategic reasons as defined offenses. There is also separate clear wording on ball tampering, stating that unauthorized actions that alter the condition of the ball are prohibited. That means the league's framework is not built only to stop corruption, but also to protect the fairness of competition in a layered way. Even outside the field, the rules extend to uniformity and presentation. The IPL's clothing and equipment regulations say that players and support staff must remain in approved playing clothing or practice clothing inside the stadium on match day. Even in the post-match presentation, press conference, and TV interviews, vests and shorts are not allowed. Proper approved attire, including shoes, is required. This clearly shows that the league extends professionalism not only to the action of the game, but also to visual discipline. That is why even spontaneity in the IPL operates within the boundaries of scripted professionalism. It is also interesting that there is a difference between public imagination and the official rulebook when it comes to jerseys. Many fans think that things like a sleeveless look, headwear style, or presentation outfit must be a player's personal choice. But the official regulations tightly define uniformity, approvals, logo placement, sponsor visibility, and presentation dress code. There is even a restriction on visible personal messages, political, religious, racial messaging, and non-approved branding. This means the league is not just selling cricket, it is running a controlled brand environment. And in a controlled brand environment, moments like uncontrolled phone use become even more alarming. Perhaps the biggest lesson of the Romi Bhinder episode is this, that in the IPL, the phrase small mistake becomes too small. Because in this tournament, not lakhs but crores of eyes are watching. Betting markets attract global attention. The secrecy of team strategy is priceless, and every broadcast angle can become evidence. In such a situation, governing bodies protect the process before the intent. Many times the public asks, if nothing wrong was proved, then what is the issue? But professional sport answers, waiting for something wrong to be proved is itself the biggest mistake. That is why even a process breach is taken seriously. This controversy is also a reality check for fans. From the outside, we see the dugout as an emotional zone, where the coach is frustrated, the player is nervous, the analyst is tense, and the manager is just handling logistics. But through the official lens, that same dugout is a monitored compliance zone. Who spoke to whom there? Who entered? Who touched a device? Who gave a signal? Who went out and re-entered? Each of these things can theoretically become reportable. That is why entry into the PMOA is accreditation-based. And once inside, leaving the zone before the match conclusion is also linked to prior permission. And this is the real modern identity of the IPL. It is not just a show of boundaries, sixes, yorkers, and screaming crowds. It is a complex mix of sports law, brand management, surveillance, anti-corruption compliance, broadcast governance, and public trust. The bigger the stage, the less private freedom there is. The bigger the league, the less room there is for informal behavior. That is why when an official is seen using a phone in the dugout, the controversy becomes bigger than the phone itself. It raises the question of whether the system is being followed fully, whether teams have allowed internal discipline to loosen, and whether people forget under pressure that cameras record not only the game, but conduct as well. The most interesting aspect of this story is that it forces us to see the IPL from a new angle. The next time the camera goes toward the dugout, perhaps you will not only watch reactions. You will also think about which space there is restricted, which communication is allowed, which is not, which device falls within the rules, and which falls outside them. And perhaps that is the lasting impact of this episode. Romi Bhinder's clip did not just raise questions about one person. It showed millions of viewers for the first time that beneath the shiny surface of the IPL runs a world of rules that is extremely strict, extremely disciplined, and sometimes almost invisible. So the real point is not just what players and coaches can or cannot do in the IPL. The real point is how trust is protected in this league. Sometimes through a phone ban, sometimes through dress code, sometimes through DRS signal restrictions, sometimes through accreditation control, and sometimes through public scrutiny that turns a tiny clip into a big question. That is why the IPL, even while being entertainment, is not pure entertainment. It is a spectacle, but a regulated spectacle. And perhaps it is because of this regulation that it is counted among the most powerful cricket tournaments in the world. Because here, victory is not decided only by the run chase. The scoreboard of credibility is also running at every moment. If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.